better get her for my mom.
In February 2022, dashcam footage captured how a Pennsylvania Uber driver was robbed and murdered. The suspect, identified as 22-year-old Calvin Crew, was captured entering the back of Christy Spicuzza's Uber. Less than 20 minutes into the ride, Crew pulled out a gun and pressed it against the back of Spicuzza's head. Spicuzza, shocked and fearful, pleaded with Crew, saying that she had a family, but her pleas met deaf ears.
Come on, man, I got a family. What are you doing?
Crew responded that he also had a family and ordered her to drive with the gun still pointed at her.
Family, what are you doing?
I got a family too, now drive.
Spicuzza continued to beg, mentioning that she had 4 kids.
I have 4 kids. What are you doing?
Ignoring her pleas, Crew stood up and attempted to disable the dash cam. After about an hour of driving, he shot at her. Before this, the suspect had thoroughly gone through her bank apps and details. This horrifying dashcam video from the Uber driver's car shows an elderly man shooting and killing an Uber driver. He now faces a murder charge and potentially other charges. According to reports, authorities say William Brock has been receiving multiple threatening scam calls since the morning of March 25th. The calls were concerning an incarcerated relative, and Brock was instructed to meet at the courthouse to pay a ransom of $12,000 in bail money, or they would harm him and his relative. Around the same time as the call, the unsuspecting Hall received directions from the same person or an accomplice instructing her to go to Brock's home to pick up a package for delivery. Dashcam video from Hall's car shows her arriving at Brock's home to collect that package. Reports from the Clark County Sheriff's Office suggest that Brock allegedly had a firearm. This video seems to confirm that. The incident report alleges Brock seized Hall's phone and prevented her from leaving. When she attempted to escape, authorities claim Brock shot Hall. They engaged in a struggle, during which he fired at her 2 more times. Authorities received a call from Brock claiming he had shot someone on his property in self-defense against a robbery attempt. When units arrived, they discovered Hall with multiple gunshot wounds, and Brock was bleeding from his head. Hall was transported to Kettering Hospital in Dayton, where she tragically passed away. Reports indicate that while officials were at the scene, Brock's landline phone incessantly rang. When one officer answered, the caller, posing as an officer, was informed of the actual events but failed to show up as agreed upon. In this disturbing dashcam footage, a San Francisco Uber driver was coughed on and harassed by a passenger, all because she was asked to put on her nose mask.
I never said anything bad to them. I never heard.
The 3 women in the back seat started hassling Subhakar Khadka because, according to him, one of them refused to wear a mask. After coughing on him, the irate woman aggressively grabbed Khadka's phone and forcefully ripped off his mask, as seen in the video. The woman in question has numerous modeling pictures on Instagram. She apparently admitted to her outrageous behavior in a live Instagram video.
All I did was take his mask off and cough a little bit, but I ain't even have corona. Hey, lucky as hell I ain't have nothing.
As a result, she was swiftly banned from both Uber and Lyft. This Uber dashcam footage captures a man and his intoxicated wife entering the car. The wife, clearly drunk, tries to access alcohol by opening a container. The Uber driver warns her, explaining that it's not allowed under Louisiana driving laws.
I can't do the open container.
Despite this, she dismisses his caution, remarking that the driver is unlike others.
Most Ubers will drive and do that.
The Uber driver apologizes, clarifying that he is simply following the law.
Sorry, I'm obeying the law.
The couple responds with an understanding comment, reassuring him not to worry and indicating they won't need his services again.
No worries.
No worries, we won't get you again.
Feeling deeply disrespected, the Uber driver promptly instructs them to exit the car, showing that he will not tolerate such disrespect.
No, you can get out. I'm not going to have you disrespect me.
As she leaves, the wife derogatorily comments to her husband, "He's gay."
He's gay.
The dashcam footage captures a man entering the car he booked for his ride. The Uber driver confirms his name and politely requests that he wear a mask, explaining its importance in an enclosed space like the car. The passenger apologized, admitting it was his first time being asked to wear a mask. Feeling offended by the Uber driver's strict adherence to safety protocols, the man muttered, "I don't like you."
I don't like you.
You don't like me? You want to get out?
This remark caused the driver to lose his temper. Without hesitation, he instructed the passenger to leave the car, ending the ride then and there. Disagreeing with the driver, the passenger insisted he had a contract and couldn't be dropped off at that point. An argument ensued as the man refused to comply, resorting to calling the driver several abusive names. The driver, acting wisely, threatened to show the dashcam footage of the incident to the police. In this alarming dashcam footage captured on August 28, 2018, a speeding truck recklessly overtakes another driver. After some honking, the truck abruptly stops, and its enraged driver, 34-year-old Jason Buck, steps out. When the two men confronted each other, their voices escalated.
I say something?
And Jason could be heard threatening to shoot the Uber driver, Robert Westlake, who was armed with a pistol. In what he believed to be self-defense, Robert fired his gun, striking Jason first. Occurring at night, the dashcam video captures the tragic moment when a self-driving Uber struck and fatally injured a woman in Tempe, Arizona. The footage shows a female passenger seated in the driver's chair, appearing asleep and unconscious while the car was moving. Shortly after the car traveled a short distance, suddenly, a person on a bicycle appeared directly in front of Uber's car and collided with the person. Despite this, the Uber driver appeared unconscious and unaware of the unfolding events. This video captures a woman caught on an Uber dashcam trying to cheat the system by canceling her ride and insisting on still getting a free trip home. The Uber driver firmly tells her he won't accept such behavior and threatens to take her to the police station if she doesn't comply. She was surprised, but didn't give up. She continued to insist that her house was not far, just a short distance from the station. Knowing he relied on the fare for his expenses, the driver explained that it was supposed to be his grocery money and insisted on taking her to the police station. In Pinellas County, a female passenger suddenly erupted in anger, slapping and then strangling the Uber driver, holding him down in his seat. She also bit and scratched him as he struggled to defend himself. This violent incident occurred within a span of 10 minutes. The 22-year-old driver, Michael Jr., disclosed that he picked her up around 5 o'clock on Saturday in front of Cask Social Kitchen in Tampa. The perpetrator's bizarre behavior was captured on the Uber dashcam, and it was suspected that her actions were due to intoxication. In the early hours of a Sunday morning, Uber driver John picked up 2 passengers from Melbourne's Noble Park. Everything seemed normal at first, albeit a bit unusual, when one of the passengers, a man named Adrian, pulled out a $10 note after being reminded by the driver to fasten his seatbelt. Suddenly, Adrian took out a bottle of alcohol and started drinking. After several gulps, he began making unsettling expressions that made the Uber driver very uncomfortable. Adrian gestured as if he had a gun, then stepped partially outside the car. He moved to the seat next to the driver, stuck out his tongue, and refused to wear his seatbelt. It became clear that Adrian was completely out of control. He demanded the Uber driver kiss him and shake his hand, but the driver refused and threatened to call the police. Adrian raised his hands aggressively and threw punches at the Uber driver. The driver tried to defend himself and escape, but Adrian kept pulling him back angrily. In this terrifying situation, the driver feared for his life. Filled with fear, the driver managed to open the doors and escape, with Adrian in pursuit. Fortunately, Adrian eventually stopped chasing after the driver, allowing the driver to make a lucky getaway. In a terrifying carjacking attempt on February 12th, around 7:30 p.m., the Surprise Police Department received a call from a man reporting that someone had just fired a shot at him. The entire confrontation was captured on video by a camera mounted on the victim's dashboard. The dashcam footage shows several men talking aggressively to the Uber driver, warning him never to return to their town. Suddenly, one of the suspects raises his hand, holding a gun and pointing it at the Uber driver. He intimidates the driver, stating that he's fortunate the gunman isn't in the mood to take his life. Joseph, the Fourth Valley driver to report such an incident, was filled with fear but bravely responded to the shooters.
It was like, "You're lucky I don't effing shoot you. Oh crap, I need to get out of here."
Challenging them to proceed. The footage then reveals him fearfully backing out, attempting to drive away from the dangerous scene. Another dashcam video from an Uber driver captured a heated scene where multiple vehicles navigated to safety while avoiding gunfire. The footage also shows a suspect accused of shooting a man during a road rage incident. The suspect is set to appear before a judge on Tuesday. According to Orlando police investigators, the incident occurred before 6:30 a.m. on Colonial Drive near Lake Baldwin Lane. The video recorded the sound of gunfire, with 8 shots heard in just 6 seconds.
I just heard like 5 gunshots.
The dashcam footage shows an Uber Eats delivery driver being approached from a distance by a hijacker carrying a gun, threatening the victim. She was chased by 2 suspects who seemed intent on taking her car keys. As the suspects got closer to the female driver, a struggle ensued, and she shouted in fear. Moments later, one of the suspects abandoned her and ran back to the car. Suddenly, shots were fired, causing people in the neighborhood to scream and scatter for safety. The carjackers quickly fled in the car, leaving witnesses in shock at the harrowing scene. This chilling video captures 2 men entering an Uber driver's car at night on October 1st on East 17th Street in Oakland. They strike up a friendly conversation by asking the driver where he's from, and he responds that he's from Nepal. Upon hearing this, the suspects appear pleased and exchange handshakes, with one giving a thumbs up. Soon after, they seem to notice the camera in the car. Over the next 6 minutes, one of them asks for hand sanitizer twice. During this distraction, the other pulls out a gun and presses it to the back of the driver's head, demanding his phone and car keys. The driver, horrified and shaken, hands over his belongings while trembling. The suspects take everything and leave him stranded and helpless. Before driving off, they remove the dashcam and throw it to the ground, leaving the driver in shock. Not all dashcam footage captures crime. This heartwarming clip shows a concerned father leaping into action to protect his daughter. Anxious and determined, he urges a taxi driver to rush them to a music festival where a mass shooting has just occurred.
Hurry up, there's a shooting going on there. Somebody shooting? Yes. Please, get me there as fast as you can. My daughter's calling me.
Shocked but compassionate, the cab driver agrees and races towards the festival. Along the way, he turns up the radio to gather more information about the unfolding situation. Ashley, the daughter, calls her father, pleading for him to arrive quickly. Her father reassures her, calming her fears. Grateful for the driver's courage, the father offers to pay extra for the ride, but the cab driver refuses, stating he would do it for free because he's also a father. Ashley calls again, directing them to Motel 6, where she will be waiting. With just moments to spare, her father promises to arrive in 2 minutes. Upon reaching the motel, Ashley and her husband quickly entered the car. Several others seek refuge too, and Ashley's dad warmly invites them to join. 7 people squeeze into the back seat of the taxi. Overwhelmed with gratitude, one of the passengers exclaims, "Thank you, I don't know you, but I love you." This Florida dashcam video captures the arrest of a murder suspect following the shooting of his girlfriend. The intense manhunt for the Daytona Beach murder suspect concluded hours after the tragic incident in a reported love triangle. Police apprehended Chad Keene, 37.
Don't move.
Don't reach for anything. Driver, unlock the door. Leave your hands up. Keep your hands up.
Driver, unlock the door.
Near U.S. Highway 1 in Ormond Beach late Tuesday afternoon. Another incident of disrespect towards an Abbotsford Uber driver was captured on Dashcam. While driving the passenger to their destination, the Uber app suggested an alternative route. In response, the passenger aggressively used offensive language, expressing his unwillingness to engage with an Uber driver. The driver then asked the passenger to leave the car due to the disrespectful statement. Enraged by this request, the passenger charged aggressively towards the Uber driver, using both hands to throw punches. Desperately, the driver attempted to defend himself by trying to exit the car, but the assailant persisted. He pinned the driver's head down against the car seat, continuing the assault. The Uber driver sustained injuries to his neck and arms, and the suspect fled before the driver could contact 911. In Kalamazoo, Uber dashcam footage helps find the suspect in a shooting case. This dashcam footage shows the moment they arrested Kalamazoo shooting suspect Jason Dalton. Who was being accused of shooting 6 people. This unique footage captures a car being hit by a woman while a concerned man rushes over from across the road to check on her well-being. After the incident, the car driver swiftly drove away without hesitation. The dashcam footage is suspected to be related to an insurance fraud incident. Following the collision, several individuals approached the scene from behind the vehicle. The driver fled the scene at 3 a.m. in Browns Plains, possibly out of fear of carjacking or suspicion of fraudulent activity. At this moment, a car moving at a very high speed smashed into the back of a broken-down vehicle in the fast lane of the M62, inches from its stranded driver. The shocking dashcam footage shows shards of glass and car debris flying through the air at the moment of impact. A taxi driver was captured on dashcam footage, dozing off for nearly a minute while driving on a motorway in China. He woke up only after his car veered off course and crashed into road barriers. Reports state that the driver, identified by his surname He, was wrapping up his night shift when he fell asleep at the wheel last Friday in Shenzhen. As a result, he has been dismissed by his company. A dashcam video shows a car driver deliberately causing a Florida road rage incident with a motorcyclist on a clear highway. The motorcyclist sustained severe injuries early Friday. According to the Florida Highway Patrol, the motorcyclist was intentionally struck by a vehicle on Interstate 75 in Sumter County. The dashcam footage captures the impact. The hit and run occurred just after midnight, near mile marker 319. Both the motorcyclist and the suspect vehicle, described as a gray or silver 2020 Honda Civic, were traveling northbound. Dashcam footage recovered from the victim's vehicle reveals a black Nissan Murano stopping at a traffic light at Old York Ronds and Cheltenham Ave. In front of the victim's car, the passenger of the Nissan Murano then exits the vehicle and walks towards the victim's vehicle, firing several gunshots into the windshield. The suspect's vehicle was last seen heading north on Old York Road into Cheltenham Township. This chilling footage clearly captures the moment when the suspect stepped out of the car in traffic and shot at the car behind him. Afterward, they quickly returned to their car and sped off. Unlike other suspects in similar cases, these individuals were not wearing masks and their faces were clearly visible on camera. From the scene, it was unclear what the suspects wanted, as they left without taking anything from the victim. A failed car theft was recorded on a Blackview dashcam. A Blackview user who installed the Blackview DR770X box in his SUV shared footage from his dashcam. In the captured video, we see a parking lot at night. A white Honda Civic pulls up nearby, and a couple exits the car. They approach the Blackview user's vehicle, attempting to open the doors. The couple then disables the alarm and the woman breaks the glass of one of the windows. Unbeknownst to them, the SUV had another alarm system. As the would-be thieves persisted, the car rearmed itself, and the alarm blared through the quiet night. Startled, the pair hurried back to their car and quickly left the scene. A man from Deerfield Beach is facing serious charges after his own vehicle's onboard camera captured him grabbing a gun from the center console and firing at another vehicle while traveling southbound on I-95. This footage captures the moment an SUV crashes into a Tulsa police car. The video, released by Tulsa police, shows an officer texting while driving seconds before the collision. Police determined that the other driver was at fault as they crossed the median. Newly released dashcam footage revealed that 3 individuals were in the car with a murder suspect as he reportedly fled from police Sunday morning. The dashcam video begins minutes after the shooting, showing an officer spotting Gallagher driving on Route 4. Despite the officer activating his lights and sirens, the car only accelerates and refuses to stop. The suspect loses control of his car about a half-mile away, fishtailing and spinning across 2 lanes before crashing into a utility pole. For about 2 minutes, an officer repeatedly orders him to put his hands up. It's unclear from the video what he's doing in the car during this time. This dashcam footage shows a driver hitting a scooter rider as he tries to cross the street. This attracted the attention of several passers-by, and they all came together to help. But the owner of the video said the scooter rider didn't stop at the stop sign. Lakeland Police Officer Scott pulls up behind a car at Liquid Hills Boulevard and tries to initiate a traffic stop, but the car takes off. Inside the fleeing car are a 15-year-old and a 30-year-old. As the chase progresses, the speed increases and sirens blare. The car darts around traffic lights and accelerates, at times forcing other drivers off the road for their safety. The pursuit continues for 10 minutes until they approach a roundabout and attempt to maneuver around it, causing them to lose control. The car flips into a pine tree and catches fire. The officer tries to open the door, but the flames force him to the ground. There's no sign of the girl. The impact of the crash throws her into the back seat, and he does not provide any information about her whereabouts. This car dashcam footage captures a startling plane crash in Mukilteo, Washington. The aircraft makes a crash landing next to the road, narrowly missing several cars. While some vehicles were damaged, local reports indicated that there were no serious injuries. The single-engine plane crashed around 3:40 p.m. local time, shortly after taking off from Painfield Airport, not far from the crash site. The footage shows the plane hitting power lines on its descent, resulting in a brief power outage in the area, as reported by the Snohomish County Public Utilities District. Jamie Jordan tragically lost her life on Sunday, July 29th, when her car was rear-ended near Schoolcraft. Dashcam footage shows a police officer pursuing Wyatt Thomas Hardy, but unfortunately, the officer was unable to catch up with him. The officer arrived at the scene of the 2-vehicle crash, where Hardy failed to stop and rear-ended the second vehicle. Police dash cam footage shows a deadly crash in Berkeley. 3 people were confirmed dead, while the 4th was seriously injured when a car fleeing a traffic stop slammed into a semi-trailer truck in west suburban Berkeley this week. The Arlington Police Department shared dashcam footage on social media showing Texas officers chasing a car before the driver, identified as Daniel Basham, drove the vehicle into the water and then jumped out of the window. Basham faces charges of driving while intoxicated, evading arrest, tampering with evidence, and possession of marijuana. This new dashcam video captures a stolen car chase leading up to the crash that tragically killed 2 14-year-old Livonia teens. Moments before their deaths, the footage shows how fast they were driving. The teens had stolen a car and were being pursued by the police. From this police chase video, it is evident that they had no intention of stopping. Sadly, this reckless behavior resulted in a high-impact collision that claimed their lives. The dashcam footage reveals a semi-truck driver falling asleep before the crash. A detailed analysis of the dash camera footage from inside the semi-truck clearly shows the driver nodding off just moments before the truck collided with 2 cars parked on the side of the road, with a person standing outside one of the cars.